And Polly, there she
Yay!
is. Hi.
Hi.
Hi. First of all, hi. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Um, I I I have to tell you, I just saw like literally right before we went live. I just saw whatever you posted that was like, I'm doing a 30-minute thing and I'm gonna do a takeover. But then like you tag, you know how like when you record a video, there's a whole bunch of pieces, obviously, right? Well, there was like
Mhm.
3 extra seconds, and we were also tagged in that. And I watched it, and it was literally this: you going like this. Yeah, end of video. End of video. So I reshared it 3 times because I felt like that was some real quality content.
Love that.
Gotta be honest with you. Look at you. You look so amazing. Your hair looks so good.
Oh my God, thank you. It's clean. That's
It
probably why.
it looks so good. You don't. You may not know that. Well, you do know this. You know this, but everybody else may not know this. My hair is. Let's see. How far down does yours go? Mine's not.
Um,
No, mine's not that long. Mine's definitely not that long.
here-
But mine probably goes. I love how this just became PG-13. Mine goes like just like almost above like my chest, like just like it's like almost down to like right here.
it's so long.
It's so long. I literally haven't cut it since I've been on tour, so it's very long. Crazy. Anyway, but we're not here to talk about my hair. We're here to talk about your hair. Just kidding. How are you? Like how's your life? How's your sanity levels? We America right now.
Oh yeah.
I didn't mean
Yeah,
that specifically, but I just meant how are you in general?
um I'm pretty good. It's it helps that like here in Chicago all week it's been like almost 70 degrees and sunny every day. It's so nice outside. So I've been trying to spend some time outside and not like be looking at the TV all day. Like take a hot sec away from the TV. I don't know, I mean like mentally I'm kind of in and out. Like some really great days that are fine and other days where I'm like, why?
I fully understand. I'm also so I'm in Houston, which I think you know, and it's also like it's literally like 80 degrees, sunny, living my best life out here. I can go outside and it's not like dark and deep and depressing, so that's really awesome at
Yes.
least. So I'm glad that you have that. Are
Yeah.
you like in the burbs?
Yeah. We're
Nice.
just literally just outside the Chicago city limits. So like
Nice.
I could drive 5 minutes and I'm in Chicago. But
Oh, nice.
we're just we I think this is 3 years that we've been in this house, but it's like a house with like
A
a yard
house.
and a garage. So
I love that. Um, okay, so I I love asking this question to people. Okay, actually, I want to ask you this first. What is the question that you get like the most often? Like doing a live or an interview or whatever. Like, what's the question you get like all the time?
if you could be another queen in six, who would it be?
Great. And on a scale of 1 to 10, how tired are you of answering that question?
I don't know. Probably, I guess not that tired because like I know the answer. Like I used to be like, I don't know, maybe this or that. Now I've kind of just got like my definitive autopilot answer.
Plot twist, you change the answer based on who's interviewing you. Angering
It used
millions.
well, it used to be. I used to be like, well, it kind of depends on the day. Some days I'm feeling like this character. Other days I'm feeling like this character. But like the more I think about it, the more I'm like, no, I'd be this one.
Did you only audition for Kay Howard?
No, I went in for Bolin and Seymour also.
Obsessed. Obsessed. I need
Yeah.
to see those. I need to see those shows in an alternate universe.
Oh my God, me too. We all the six of us talk about it all the time. How we'd love to do a concert sometime where we all just kind of switch, just to sing each other's songs. It would be so fun.
Manifest. Green Room 42, here you come.
Yeah. Well, a couple months ago, me and Britt and Andrea did a weekend back to school thing.
That's right.
And the second day we did a live concert and we each sang 3 songs. And the last song that we all did, we all sang each other's. So Andrea did All You Want to Do, Britt did Don't Lose Your Head, and then I did Get Down. So that was
I,
really
I'm obsessed with that. But we need to see you do. We need to see you or y'all do it in like full on like on stage audience microphones like
Oh yeah.
you know, doing the
It
whole
would be
thing.
so much fun.
Okay, so my favorite questions I ask that you probably get asked all the time too, and everybody does, is like mishaps, because that's just like I don't know. There's
Mm.
something very, I guess, there's something very German about how much I love whenever things go wrong. But that's a conversation for therapy on another time. But I wanna put a little twist to it. So my first question is, what's like the worst what's like the worst mishap that you have ever done, like that you've ever either been responsible for or has happened to you?
Uh,
So I'll start with that. What's the answer to that question?
the answer to that one is probably when I was in London, uh, at the very end of our production, like for anyone that's seen Evita, you know, they sing the whole thing at the end after she's died where they're like supposed to be embalming her and like preserving her. And so we kind of did the show backwards so that when that moment in the show happened, they undressed me on stage and they put me in the full white ball gown, blonde wig, jewelry, because like that's how people remember her. So the idea was like, oh, we're preserving her as
Right.
this image that we all know. And it was like this really, like we had it down to a science, quick change, the whole dress unfolded, and I had a bra that was quick rigged, like the straps would unhook and the girls would like take care of everything. And there was a day that they had given me a new bra, like a double, and they forgot to quick rig it, but I didn't check it when I put it on for the show. I was just like, oh, cool, a new bra. I'm just gonna, I'll put it on. And we got to that moment in the show, and both of the girls, I had one on either side, realized in the moment, oh, it's her bra straps aren't quick rigged. So one of the girls just took the strap and just went like this and like touched my arm. So, and like I understood what was happening, and I was like, okay, like I'll fix it in the blackout. And the other girl, bless her heart, um, grabbed my arm and tried to pull it out of the strap. But when that happened, my whole boob came out. And this was like in the front, like all of this happened like right as close as possible to the audience. And like to me, I can laugh about it now because to me in the
Worth the
moment,
price of admission.
yeah. In the moment, it seemed like it lasted for forever. And the director was there that night. And I don't know if he was just being nice, but he was like, oh, I had no idea. He's like, I didn't even know that anything went wrong. Like I didn't. And I was like, okay, you can tell me if it did. But in that moment, I was mortified. Now I'm like, well, tits to the wind. It happens.
Um, I am obsessed with that. Have you told that story before?
Uh, yeah, I not like a ton. I feel like some people know
I
it,
frequently
but
talk about my wardrobe malfunctions. Have you not been following me? What's wrong with you? Um, okay, so here's my follow-up question to that. Well, I have so many follow-up questions to that that I'll text you about later, but that's different.
Mhm.
Okay, so can you remember did you do theater in high school?
Yeah, kind of like at the end of high school. I didn't do my first show until like the end of my junior year.
Oh, interesting. So maybe so it kind of leads into another question I had you, which was like which was like that. Like did you grow up like were you a theater kid? Did you grow up like doing theater? But did you end up doing like your musicals or anything like that at the end of your your junior or senior year?
Yeah, well, the musical my junior year, so the musicals were always in the spring, so that's why I didn't do anything until the end of my junior year. But I had always been like just nervous to audition because I wasn't really a theater kid. I was always in
Mm,
choir, but I was like, oh, there's like the people in high school that do theater, so like they're the ones that are gonna get cast, not me. And we did the pajama game, and my choir teacher was like, auditions are happening, you should just go and just sing. There's like a couple parts that you could definitely do. um so I auditioned for it. I ended up getting cast as Gladys, so I got to do Steamed Heat, which was so fun. And like I hadn't danced in forever, so I felt very out of my element, like because it's all like the theater kids that dance and sing all the time, and I was like, I don't know what a pirouette is, like I can't do that. And
right.
then that it was just kind of, the rest is history from there. I loved it. And then my senior year, we did Chicago.
Who did you play in Chicago?
I played Velma.
Of course you did. Of course you did. Okay, so then here, okay, of course you did. Obsessed with that. Do you have a recollection of any like mishap that happened either your junior or senior year of high school?
Um,
It's fine if the answer is no, we can move on.
I guess not that I can think of. Nothing that like I'm sure that there were mishaps, but nothing that
Nothing that
really.
like that stands out to you?
Oh, I do remember. Also, my senior year, we did the play Blithe Spirit, and I don't remember the characters' names from that show, but I played the ghost. What's her
Like the
face?
Angela Lansbury character?
I don't know.
Like the medium?
No, no,
Oh,
no. Like the
okay.
actual ghost,
Oh, the
like
ghost. Okay, okay.
whatever her name was. And there was a moment where I was supposed to like smash a vase, and I was never able to do it. And there was one night I threw it to try and smash it, and it like ricocheted off of the floor, like it ricocheted off the stage and like into the. It didn't hit anybody, but it just went like boom and just like launched into the air.
So if you're tuning in, what we've learned today is that Samantha Pauly has a history of hurting people in the audience and also flashing them. So also, I apologize to anybody who's just joined us and doesn't understand the reference. Great. Okay, so here's a random question for you. Do you do any impressions?
Singing wise, yeah.
The way that you just lit up when I asked
Not
that
like
question, do you know when you ask a performer something and they're like kind of semi-excited that you asked them that question? The way that you like touched your hair, I swear to God, I was like, do you do any impressions? You went, watch, here we go, here's the reaction. I was like, right, ask me, do you do any impressions?
do you do any impressions?
That's literally what just
I
happened.
can't stand you. I hate you.
The receipts will be there. The receipts will be there. But now the question is, what are they?
So I guess I don't really do any like just like existing, but like I
You do Cole Wilkinson.
Singing I can do Ariana Grande and Christina Aguilera. My Celine Dion is okay. And I think my Britney Spears is okay. But
do you have a go-to, I don't want to put you on the spot, but do you have like a go-to Christina, what was the other one? Ariana. Do you have a go-to for those that you could give us like 5 seconds?
Ariana Grande. Yeah, usually I sing oh my God, what is it? One Last Time.
Okay.
Because like all the verses of that song, she's like not really saying words, so it's kind of easy.
Great.
But usually I hate you so much. Usually it's just I was a liar, I gave into the fire. I know I should have fought, at least I'm being honest. Man, I could fail, cause I know that I failed you. I should have done you better, cause you don't wanna lie. So one last night, like you have to do a lot of jaw movement.
I don't know. I knew exactly where that was going, and I was here for the ride. I bought a ticket to that regardless of bra or no bra.
Oh my God, thank you.
Just want to throw that out there. Okay, wait. So do you have a Christina?
Yeah. Usually what I do. Oh my God, how does it start? How does What a Girl Wants start? Oh, I like to do the riff that she does at the beginning of the song where she goes, oh yeah. Wanna thank you for giving me time to breathe. Like a rock, you waited so patiently while I got it together. While I figured it out, yeah.
It's the low stuff for me.
It's the low stuff. It's like all of the extra, oh yeah, that they like
exactly.
Really add in.
It's like you're here, you're like in the clouds, and then it's great. I first of all, it's brilliant. Thank you for doing that. Also, I'm very sorry if you hate me, but I am obsessed with that. Also, I think we gained 10 followers just because you did an impression. So I would just like to, say thank you. Thank you very much to everybody. Everybody who's watching, by the way, put your questions in the actual little official questiony thing, whatever that's called, the official questiony thing, um, as opposed to putting them in the chats, because there's like so many little chatty situations here, and we love you all. Hi. Um, I swear to God, if I wasn't doing it ironically, then I would be the most annoying person on the planet. Or maybe I already am. So, and maybe I have absolutely no self-awareness, and that's totally fine for me.
And that's
Um,
fine.
it's totally fine. Um, okay, what is your favorite musical?
Ooh,
Have you not been asked this
probably.
frequently?
Um, yeah.
Don't
Well, it's
lie.
usually that I usually answer like that's I like accompany that with well, like when people ask about like dream roles. But I think one of my all-time favorite shows is Andrew Lippa's Wild Party.
Nice. By the way, I have to say, I have to point out, I love pointing out all of your faults. So I love when I ask you a question and you're like, yo, so I usually answer that by saying this. Usually what I do, I'm sort of do impressions, but yeah, usually what I do is I'll do like the first verse and I'll do like the little riff at the beginning of this thing, right? But pretending, but going into it being like very humble and being like, oh yeah, I guess I gotta do that, I guess. I
Pretending
don't
to
know.
be very humble. God, you're coming for me today.
I'm joking, Sam. At the beginning, before you came on, I called you Sam Lima Ding Dong, and then I was completely clocked for it. So that's how the day is
That's
going.
cute.
Sam Lima Ding Dong. Do you have a least favorite musical, Sam Pauly?
Mm. Yeah, I don't really like Pippin, and I don't really like Carousel.
And can you explain why? In full
Pippin,
detail and
I
use cast member names.
use specific productions that you've seen. Pippin, I just feel like I've heard Corner of the Sky so many times
Mm.
done very poorly that like anytime someone's like, we're doing Pippin, I'm like, no thanks. I don't need to hear that. I also, the story, I'm just like, what? I don't know. I've just never really gotten into it. And then Carousel, to be fair, I think the music is beautiful, but you know, as soon as you get to the moment where she's like, "Oh, he hit me, but that's love, right?" That's when I'm like, "No,
Problematic.
I could do without it." Those might be two of my least favorites. I also here's just a third one for you.
Oh,
The Music Man. Ugh, God, I'm just like over it. To be
are you
fair,
listening, Hugh
whenever it
Jackman?
comes to Broadway, I'll
Sutton?
probably end up seeing it. But like, I just, we get it.
I know what you
We
mean.
get it. It's like the band and like the pool table, and it's fine.
The band and the pool table. That was the original title, actually. They changed it for.
That was actually
It was actually copyrighted, but that's if you just dig down into that. No, okay. Here's what's funny, because I actually agree with you on Pippin, and I know what you're talking about. Aside from hearing "Corner of the Sky" literally every single day of every single second. Wait, flip that around. Um, I know what you mean, because like the story is like there's like an hour where there's like no music, and then it's like we're all like these like actors, but we're sort of not. But also like there's some sort of weird like satanic ritual thing happening. Um,
yes.
and yes, excellent. What was the other one? Carousel. I have to tell you something. I saw in Chicago, 2014 or 2015, I think, when the lyric did it.
Yeah, I
And
saw that too.
did you see it?
That was the first time I'd ever actually seen a full production of it.
I loved that production.
It was beautiful.
It made me actually like the show, because I'm with you. I think that sometimes with those older shows, it's kind of like not no shade against the older shows. I don't mean to generalize, but I know what you mean. Especially when the story is problematic.
Oh yeah.
But I love that production. I'm really happy that I saw it, because I feel like had I not seen that, I would have sort of very generally just said I don't like Carousel, just like you did. Just kidding. I'm fully kidding. I'm fully kidding. Who is the? I'm gonna ask one more question of my own, and then I'll go to the people in the chat because this isn't about me. Who is your favorite person that you have ever worked with?
Oh, good question. Um, like actor or
Yeah, like showbiz person, I think.
um, I mean, there's
Or dog that you've petted at one point.
my dog that I've petted. My dog. Where is he's not out here? I don't know where he is. Um, Either I would say it's probably a pretty close tie. My other girl's in six. I've never had a relationship like the one I have with them
Oh,
within a show. I think it helps that we've been together for over a year and we've created something really special. Um, but also, probably last
okay.
year doing Evita, Trent Saunders, who played Che. I don't know if it was because like we were both coming to a new place to do something that we weren't really sure what it was going to be, and like we knew we were going to have to connect and be supportive of each other. But even, I mean, it's been a year since that show happened, and we still talk all the time and check in with each other. And I talk to he's engaged now, and he has like soon to be stepdaughter. Like we just have
Oh,
yeah, another really special relationship, and was always like really supportive during, because that show was crazy.
I love
um
that. You
yeah.
you and I've only known you obviously for a very short period of time. Today actually we just met today. Just kidding. Um, that would be weird. But you always, I just have to point out because I'm sure that everybody will agree with me, but you have always struck me as somebody who is like so has just like so much gratitude and um such like a positive attitude. And I mean this both from like how you present yourself on social media, but also like how we have interacted. Um, and so I just wanted to point that out because I think it's really important for people, especially the people that are watching this that look up to you, to know that like I personally, at least through my experience, I feel like you are you actually like embody what you say your principles are and stuff like that.
Oh,
So
that's so nice. Thank you.
I just wanted to point that out. I would like to also point out that people are now writing hashtag cancel music man in the chats. And I would just like to say that we did not facilitate that. So
No, definitely
people
did not.
trashing the music man. JK. Okay, here's another T question for you, and then I'll get to the group chat questions.
Mm-hmm.
Who is, you don't have to say, don't say who it is, obviously. Who is the least favorite person you've ever worked with? Tie that into like what sort of experience did you have where you worked with somebody who, and I hope that you didn't have it actually, but if you did, um what was that experience like?
um yeah, so there's a show I did a couple years ago. When was it? 20,
You don't have to get specific.
I don't remember. um but it was just like this person was they were on the creative team, and it was just a very toxic
Mm,
environment where he would like openly say very mean things about other females in the cast. If anybody questioned something, the answers were very alarming. um it ended up not lasting very long because the show had a clopening.
great.
We had one show, and then the next day they canceled that evening's performance, and they're like, we're gonna have a company meeting instead. And I was like, oh, we're closing. I knew it. So luckily it didn't last too long. It was the rehearsal process that was
Got it.
tough. There was one day in particular
Somebody
where
says give me a name and address.
the name, I saw that. So give me a name and address. Oh, and for those saying, it was not Bad Out of Hell. This was a different show. This was Bad Out of Hell was a whole other thing. But yeah, this was a whole other show. And there was one day in particular that something was said to me and another actor who is a very good friend of mine, who we talk about this all the time still, that something was said to me And my friend looked at the writer, one of the writers, and said, "You've got to actually be kidding me right now." Like it was, everything kind of halted. It was very, very odd. No one knew what they were getting themselves into. So luckily, didn't really have to do a whole lot of like working through it because it didn't
Mm.
last very long.
Oh my God, the tea, Sam, the tea.
That's like
Okay,
a whole other thing maybe I'll talk about sometime.
listen, I'm here for it. I love the tea. Okay, so somebody asked, oh, this is a good question. How do you deal with stress?
Ooh. Sometimes I deal with it okay. Sometimes I deal with it horribly.
Understood.
Um, I would say probably 80% of the time I don't deal with it well. It usually takes a toll on me health wise. It used to be worse like in college and when I was first kind of starting out in the business. I would lose weight very quickly. Like I wouldn't eat, I wouldn't sleep. Um, I've kind of learned that, theater is my job. It's not like the end all be all. So when things do stress me out, one thing that helps is knowing that it's temporary.
Hmm.
Like the stress is temporary. Um, but I also find now that I've gotten into working out more in the last like 3 years, I've gotten very serious about it, and that definitely helps. Like channeling my energy into something else and like sweating for a little bit or doing something that has nothing to do with theater.
I love that. That's just kind of like a follow-up question to that, which is like, so how, I guess like with that and maintaining like your stamina, you obviously are an incredible performer just sort of all around. What's your like secret to maintaining all that energy and stamina?
Um, I sleep a lot.
Great.
Like when a show is running, especially a show like Six or Vita, I usually don't talk until like 4 or 5 o'clock during the day.
Smart.
Um, there have been times when I've gotten to the theater and I'll be like, "Hey guys," and I'm like, "That's the first time I've spoken to you."
Hello, all you want to
Um,
do?
uh, um, so I also like, once the show is open, that's my job. I don't really have anything to do during the day. So I never really set an alarm unless I have to. I always let myself sleep for as long as I feel like I need to sleep. Um, Again, kind of going back into like getting more into fitness, also like changing my diet and eating things that make me feel good.
Mm,
That's not to say that I don't like eat bad food. You know what I mean?
I do.
But I've also discovered that like again, if that's like in 80% of the time I'm eating things that make me feel better, then that's just gonna make me feel good overall. I take my vitamins, I drink a lot of water, and like, it's kind of what is a downfall to theater is that you have to say no to a lot of things.
Mm.
You know, like going out of town or going to that wedding or going out and meeting friends on a Saturday night because you just did 2 shows and you have to go home. Um, so it's a lot of those things. Really, just taking care of yourself.
Solid. Taking care of self. Wash hair. Great. Step one. It's going really well. Um, okay, so I have to ask you about coaching. A, because like shameless plug, but also because I'm genuinely interested. You have been coaching so much, literally so much.
Mhm.
And on a scale of 1 to 10, how much do you hate it? Joking, joking, everyone, completely joking. I'm the worst at doing interviews. I'm gonna get fired, and I can't get fired. So anyway, but um, no, so seriously, like like you must love coaching, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, tell me a little bit about that. Um, how has coaching been different for you during this period of quarantine versus like were you doing it a lot before? Talk to me about
Sure.
that.
Well, when you first reached out to me and asked me to do it in like March, I feel like my first response to you was like, "Oh, I'm not a
Spoiler
voice
alert.
teacher. Like, I don't." don't own a piano. I can't play the piano. I don't,
Right.
that's not my thing. And you were like, no, it's all virtual. Like they take care of the music and they're supposed to come warmed up and whatever. And even I think the first day, the first lesson I had is a student that I still have, and I see her like once a week, and she's incredible. She's only 11 years old, and she's like nuts. She's out of this world. But I was so nervous. Like she came on the screen, and I was like, "What am I so nervous about? Like this is like at the time she was 10. I was like, this is a 10-year-old. Like I am in control. I am leading this thing," and and I was so nervous
I am
because
in
I really
control.
felt like I didn't know what I was doing. You were just kind of like, it can be acting your song, it can be vocal technique, and so I just like, I was super nervous. And then I feel like after that, there was a day when I had 5 lessons back to back. It was like a jam-packed day. And then that was a day where I was like, okay, I got it. Like, okay, I know what I'm doing. So I guess it's changed a little bit in that, you know, I'm far more comfortable. I have a definite way that I run my lessons. And anybody here that has lessons with me would know I have like a spiel that I give to new students. They would know. I have like a spiel that I give to new students if, you know, if it's their first time having a lesson with me, but I really enjoy it. And what's also really cool is that like, it's people from all over the world, which is crazy. Like I've had lessons with people in like South Korea and Poland, and it's like all over the place. Which is also kind of cool because I'm like, someone in Brazil wants to have a lesson with me? Who am I?
It's because they were in the front row
I'm
of
just a
Evita.
potato.
No,
Just a little potato.
I listen, potato. Let's call the whole. I have no idea what's happening. Great. I don't start something unless you have a type. What's I say? I love what I love about that is that like. So wait. So had you not coached before I reached out to you?
No, never.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
I literally did not know that. Also, not me like messaging you. I think at the time from like my personal account, being like, "I'm Thais," and I know Tim. Like I was like, "You did Evita." I was like, "I'm doing JCS." Maybe like I was like trying to like find a connection with you.
Yeah.
Um, that's so funny. But like now, don't you feel like you're like a pro
Yeah.
at coaching? Like you're
Yeah.
like a pro, and like I at least like I feel like people view you like they look at you and they go like, Sam, she's like freaking amazing. She's this like crazy triple threat, and then also she's like this brilliant coach as well, which I absolutely love.
Well, it's great. What like the best part about it is that like I feel like I teach in a way that either I was taught or I speak to my students in like kind of the way that I speak to myself when I'm trying to work something out or like sing something
Mm.
new, hoping that what works for me also works for them. It doesn't always, but the thing that always, you know, gives me another little like reassurance or like makes me, you know, give myself a pat on the back is when I do suggest something like that where I'm like, let's try it like this or let's do this exercise. And to have a student say like, oh my God, it feels so much better. Like I can do it. And I'm like, yes, I did it.
I
Nailed
think
it.
I think like that's something that I often find myself and I hear other performers and other like artists like you, but also students that are kind of asking those questions back and forth, which is like I think ultimately at the end of the day, like somebody that wants to work with you is going to work with you because it's you, right? And so like if you were to try to put on some kind of like, you know, preconceived notion of what a teacher is supposed to be, or like, you know, it wouldn't, they wouldn't benefit from that because it ultimately, it wouldn't be you giving like your version of expertise and your
Right.
style and stuff. I think that that's kind of the really cool thing about a lot of different people coaching too. Um, and obviously people love you, so they're coming back.
Well, yeah. But also like I totally get it when people are like, oh, like just seeing in some of the comments, people are like, I'm not good enough to sing in front of this person, or I can't do this, or I can't do that. Like the one thing I say to any new student I have, and even students that I have that I see all the time that are nervous to sing something, or they're like, oh, sorry, that was bad. Let me start over. That I'm like, this is super casual. I have literally no expectations. A lesson is about trying something new, and if there's a voice crack or we forget the words or you run out of breath or it sounds weird, it doesn't really matter because there's someone who wants to start.
It's
Oh,
you're basically answering this question, which is great.
yeah. Lesson is where you're working on something and you make mistakes and like we laugh it off. And I also want to take the time to ask you about your day. Like, you know, it's not like a strict lesson. It's just about like showing up and having fun for our 30 minutes or 90 minutes or whatever people want to book. And like,
4 hour
and it's
session.
also, you know, there are plenty of people who show up and we work on something for 30 minutes and then we talk for 30 minutes, whatever questions they have. Or like, I had a lesson with a student yesterday who was like, I could tell that something was wrong and she was sad and there was some stuff going on. And so we talked for like 45 minutes because if that time that you're scheduling with me is the only time that you have to talk to somebody about something that's going on that would affect our lesson anyway, then let's just talk about it so that you can feel better. And then we'll sing. Like, again, super low pressure. I want it to be a time that's fun for you as a student so that you're not nervous every time we have a lesson. Like, then you're not going to have a good lesson.
Somebody in here asked, oh, that's the wrong question. I'm getting the wrong question. Okay. My giant fingers. Somebody asked here a question. I can't find it because there's 8 million questions, but it was a question that said, how do you deal with, as an artist, like, how do you deal with negative, like, comments and negative, just overall the haters? Like, how do you deal with that?
Mm-hmm. Sometimes not very
Crying.
well. Sometimes
Yeah.
I don't deal with it well. I think it depends on what it is. I've been, knock on wood, lucky enough that no one has come into my DMs or written a comment like, you should go kill yourself, or, you know, like no one has said anything like
Crazy.
alarming
Okay.
or super mean. It's all, you know, dumb stuff about Six where they're like, I don't like the accents, I like this person better. And like, okay, whatever. Like, that's stuff that I hear enough that I'm like, okay, live like whatever you feel, but you don't need to come onto my video
Yes.
and say that, because like I'm gonna see it. I think one thing that's helped is that I try and take breaks from social media, but I also, just for my own mental health, change the privacy settings on my stuff a lot. So like, I don't have my notifications turned on for Instagram.
Nice.
For a while, I changed it so that people couldn't tag me and stuff, or, you know, tag me in comments for other things, because people were doing that. They would write something rude and tag me in it, or tag me in a video, and then people write a lot of mean stuff in the video. So changing privacy settings so that I'm less likely to go and look at something and just sit there scrolling through the comments. I turned off all the comments on my YouTube videos because I just don't care. Like, you know, social media is, again, not the end all be all. It's fun and it's a great way to connect with people, but like, you know, it's not, doesn't like bring me joy.
Doesn't
You
like
know, it's
bring
not
me
like
joy.
the best thing in my life.
Well, somebody, I can't remember who it was. I think it was Dana Steingold. She was doing a class with us, and somebody asked her something similar to that, and her answer, which I loved, which was like, she was like, if you read, the thing is, if you want to read the good comments, you have to read the bad comments. Like, you can't see the good comments without the bad comments. And her
Yeah.
advice was just don't read them, because
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
there's that old adage that says, like, you know, you can get 10 compliments in a day, but it only takes like one negative comment to ruin your whole day. And for
Oh, yeah.
whatever reason, like, we just, that, you know, it's that one stupid comment or that one stupid person that was like, you're stupid, you can't do this, you can't sing. And there's probably, I mean, there's so many, that's what's so important to us. I mean, like, through our organization and stuff, about encouraging people, and why we talk to people in DM. Sorry to go off on a tangent, but just to say it out
No.
loud, because I think there's so many people out there probably watching too, who, like, we all have that one person who, like, it's either like a peer, or it's like, I don't know, it could be anybody that just, like, for whatever reason is hating on us. And it really isn't about, it's not about you, it's about whatever's going on with them. But they're
Oh,
choosing to
yeah.
take it out. But I think it's just so important to, remind people that like you're not defined by that one stupid person's comment.
Right.
That's all.
Yeah,
Okay,
absolutely.
two more questions. Again, there's like 8 million in here. I swear to God, they're in here. I'm like
I
scrolling
love it.
through. I usually try to display them. Okay, I have two more questions. The first is somebody asked, have you stolen anything from a show? And maybe you don't have to tell specifically what that show is if the cops are gonna come and get you.
Have I stolen anything from a show? I don't know that
Pulls out the file cabinet.
stolen anything. Hey, dog. I
Oh,
don't know that
hi.
I don't know that I've stolen anything. Um,
I highly suggest it.
I feel like I should. I've always wanted to, but I get too nervous because my train of thought is like, I could take this and no one would probably know. But there is a costume person that's responsible for all these pieces. And if they have to pick everything up and they bring it all back and something's not accounted for, they're going to get in trouble. And then I'm going to feel like shit. So I don't think I have. I've in
Claire, one
like
of these days.
commercial stuff that I've done. Usually they let you
Yeah,
keep
right.
something afterwards. They'll let you keep the outfit that you wore because you were wearing it all day or whatever. So that's kind of cool. And it's all like stuff that I would never wear on my own. It's like a mom
Right.
outfit or like something like that.
A
I'm like
mom
not
outfit.
I guess a mom
No shade to
outfit.
the moms out there.
No
Listen,
shade to the moms out there, but yeah, just stuff that I wouldn't
just like
normally
not for
wear,
my personal aesthetic.
but I'll keep it
Not really in mom mode. Okay.
because
My last question is related to Six. Also, I think I told you this, but I mean, you know by now that like I am the ultimate musical theater fangirl. So first of all, there's that. And also goodbye. No. I so before knowing you, I actually saw the first preview of Six on Broadway, if you can believe that. And I
yeah,
I want to just tell you, hopefully I won't get in trouble for this, but so at the time, so I was on tour with Jesus Christ Superstar, right?
yeah.
And then I was doing Project Runway at the same time, and I was having to take little breaks every now and then to go back to New York and film that. And it just so happened that the last week, when we did Fashion Week, that was the week that y'all opened, or the week that you had
Yeah.
first preview, and it was my last day. And I was supposed to leave. I think it was a Thursday. I can't remember. I was supposed to leave to go back to the show on that day, and I was like, oh no, there's another day of shooting. And I ended up leaving the next day so that I could come and see. Because I found out like the day of, I went on StubHub, I paid like a crazy, exorbitant amount of money for the tickets, and I took my two best friends and we went and saw it. And I'm only putting this out because there's so many people that are so like relating to me right now. Yes. Um, I've seen the show in London 6 times. I am ironic 6 times.
Oh
I
wow.
am so obsessed with the show. I am so obsessed with the show, and I loved getting to see it. I loved getting to see the first preview, or just getting to see it on Broadway specifically, because
Mhm.
I knew every little difference, and it
Oh
made
yeah.
my life. My best friend too. Also, we're like obsessed with it. We've listened to all of the different cast members, all of the covers, all of the understudies and stuff in the English cast.
Mhm.
Um, and anyway, just had to say that. But I wanted to ask you, did you, now that I'm fully embarrassed, did you see the show in London?
Yes.
You did.
Yeah. It was our days off in London were Sundays, and it was the last day that Matt was visiting. And I called Kenny Wax, our UK producer, and I was like, "Hey, is there any chance we could see either the 4 or 7 o'clock show today? Like, sit in the back, no big deal. If not, just let me know." And we ended up going to the 4 o'clock one because it was the last day for a couple people. It was Grace's last day, and she was in for Aragon, and then Vicky was on for Jane Seymour. But JJ was there. She was injured, so she was there, and she actually sat up with us and watched the show. So the only person I didn't get to meet was Natalie. She wasn't there. But yeah, we went to go see it. We just sat like on two little stools back up by the soundboard, and it was amazing.
Is this before or after you had already begun performing in the show?
This was after.
After you, okay,
Yeah.
after. How did that feel? Because like for instance, I saw JCS on the closing before we started rehearsals or like in the UK before we started rehearsals in the US, and it like that was a frickin' like just the adrenaline rush of watching that and being like
Oh yeah.
we're literally like they're gonna ship this set over to the US and we're gonna do that.
Yeah.
But very different aesthetic watching it after you've like been doing it. How was that? And seeing
Um,
it, you know.
well, what the first thing that was, what was that?
I put
The
a bunch of things together at once.
the first thing that was different to me was the arts theater is so small.
Right.
It's so tiny. And towards the beginning of Vita rehearsals, Six had like a bunch of injuries and people were sick and they almost had me come in on a Sunday and do the show, but I wasn't able to because I was technically in London on a work visa for one specific thing, so I couldn't go work somewhere else. But as soon as we got there, my first thought was, it's a good thing I didn't do this because this stage is so much smaller. I would have hit somebody. Yeah,
Okay.
I don't know what I would have done. But it was really cool. I wish I just wouldn't have cared about, like, in my mind, I was like, I have to go back to the show soon, so I should be watching Amy the whole time so that I can see if I remember everything that I have to do. But I wish I would have just forgotten about that because I feel like I wasn't watching the show as a whole. You know what I mean? I was watching it thinking the whole time, like, and then I walk over there and now she walks over there and then I do this and this. Like, I was doing the dance moves in my seat. Like, so it was still really cool to see. And I was super excited to then like meet everybody and go backstage after and say hi. And that was really cool. I definitely felt like kind of starstruck. I was like, oh my God, they're here.
Flashback to you sitting on a stool with a glazed look over your eye going,
Yep.
House
Yep.
of Holbein, yeah.
Yes, that was me.
I know we went like way over time. But I just have to say, so worth it for you to literally just casually drop even just the potential idea of you possibly having gone on in the London show. Everybody's brains would have exploded.
It was a weird 24 hours because I had already gone to bed and Kenny, the producer, had texted me and I happened to wake up at like 2 a.m. and look at my phone and I was like, what? So I was like, okay, I need to set an alarm because I need to call my agent and I need to figure out blah, blah, blah. Like it was, and I was literally about to get on the tube to go to the theater when he called me again and he's like, don't worry about it. It's legally, we can't do it. We're just gonna forget about it. Thanks for being ready to go. Cause they were having to talk to Regent's Park and Jamie and be like, is it okay if we have her do this thing? It's her day off, you know, whatever.
Me punching lawyers. Out of my way.
Honestly, I know it would have been really, really fun. It would have been cool. And what was crazy is that the only people that knew about it were my husband, one of my agents, and Kenny Wax. And I think it might have been Matt who was texting me and he was either looking at Twitter or like Six message boards or something. And he was like, people know.
Grace knew.
And I was like, what? Grace knew?
Yeah, Grace from the show.
Well, yeah, she knew, but I don't think she would have told anybody. Anyway.
Not Grace in the message boards going,
Grace on the message boards.
That's a really good impression of Grace.
But people were saying that. They were like, oh, I think Sam's going into the show today. But I think they had just figured it out because so many people were sick. They knew other people were already injured and out, and they knew I was in London. And so they were like, they're probably going to bring in Sam, and they're going to blah, blah, blah. And I was like, this is nuts. They just kind of did their own detective work. But it didn't happen. It would have been cool, but definitely understand why it couldn't. It was just not, I just wasn't able to.
What an amazing story. As a huge and much to your dismay, amazingly annoying Six fan, I am obsessed with everything that see, okay, this is the reason that I am a theater nerd. Not to make this about me, but I'm just saying, I'm really kind of speaking for everybody else. This is like the reason that like theater nerds are theater nerds, because that can only happen in theater.
Yes.
There's not like another job where somebody's like, we're gonna replace the vice president today, and also me not knowing how other jobs work. So that's really great. It's really awesome. We'll unpack that later. Okay, so you are gonna do a takeover, hopefully now, unless you're completely just bored of Artists and Beyond already.
No.
Claire, I love you, Claire. Claire's literally just clocking me on literally every single thing. Clara. So amazing. You have all the stuff. Me asking you, like, do you have a password? Do you have everything like to get in?
Yeah, you texted it to me.
Do you want to say anything to the lovely live people before you take over?
Thanks for being here, everyone. This was fun. And if you are thinking about signing up for a lesson, you know what a lot of people do too is that I have a lot of people schedule like a 30-minute lesson to see if they
Don't hate
like
you.
it and if we click, which is totally fine.
Yes, I love this shameless plug. Book a lesson with Sam. Also, you have a workshop on Sunday. Amise bot, and we're gonna do the giveaway. What is today? Friday. We're gonna do it tomorrow because it's on Sunday, right? Yeah.
Wait, is today Thursday or Friday?
Today is Friday, my love.
Today is Friday.
Today is Friday.
When are you doing the giveaway?
I'm sorry. Why are you yelling at me? First of all, you literally just went. When are you doing the giveaway?
Because you just said we're going to do the giveaway on Friday, and today's Friday.
No, I said we're going to do the giveaway tomorrow because today is Friday.
Oh, okay.
Also, we'll go back and watch the
Maybe
receipts,
just, like,
and then we can
speak up.
argue about it later. Okay, I'm going to need you to, like, you're using your barn voice right now, and I'm going to need you to lower it, okay? Because we are inside, ma'am.
Sorry.
Okay? Now, please go and take over our Instagram.
I will. I can't wait for everyone to just watch me kind of do nothing today. Actually, I have 2 lessons later today, so.
Potato, the musical.
Yeah.
All right. I love you, dear. I'll talk to you soon.
Love you. Bye, everyone.
Bye.